Hey guys, my name is Jyleon Rush. This is for my HSC 301 Orientation to Health Science class. This is my internet assignment. I chose the American Stroke Association, and these are 5 reasons why I think that the website is dope and I'm really interested in it. So to start off, the link is www.strokeassociation.org. If you Google it or if you just type it in, it should pop right up. The first thing is that it offers information about what exactly a stroke is. A lot of people know of a stroke or know somebody who's had a stroke, but they don't know exactly the science behind it and how it actually affects you. So the second thing is that it's a valuable resource for both stroke victims as well as their families. It basically has like the warning signs on there, the treatment and prevention, which is the most important part. The third thing is that there's a really cool link on there. It's called Life After Stroke. And this is really important because a lot of people fall into depression after a stroke. They feel like they're never going to be themselves again and that they can never come back after a stroke, and that's definitely not true. It is true if you affect it. I mean, if you let it affect you, but if you don't, you should be fine. There's other things you can do to basically counteract the stroke. The fourth thing is the website is a local place you can a place you can find local places to volunteer your time. Like if you really want to donate your time or even money to the American Stroke Association, you can find out ways to do things on there, which I think is really cool. I'm like all about being like helping local businesses and like supporting local companies. Like I'm really into that, so that part rings true for me. And then the last thing is that you can actually like view the website and read things in a different language. I know for a fact one is Spanish. I want to say the other one is Chinese or Vietnamese, or it might even be both of those actually. And I think that it's really important that there is other language options so people who don't just speak English can be educated as well. So we're going to go ahead and go to the site. So basically you just type in www.strokeassociation.org and this is what pops up right off the bat. So this is the homepage, and if you scroll down like two clicks, basically this is their acronym right here. It's FAST, FAST. These are the warning signs for stroke. So F is for face drooping, A is for arm weakness, S is for speech difficulty, and T is for time to call 911. So basically the main education that they want people to understand, which is why it's on their homepage, is that you need to look for the warning signs, how to prevent a stroke, the treatment for a stroke, and life after a stroke. So if we scroll back up, we can see that there's like different tabs up here, super different links. The first one I want to talk about is the About Stroke one. This is where it actually tells you what a stroke is. I'm going to go ahead and read it. Stroke is a disease that affects the arteries leading to and within the brain. It is the number 5 cause of death and a leading cause of disability in the United States. So basically, it's a blood clot in your brain and it affects your cognitive ability. So you sometimes lose fine motor skills, the ability to talk, ability to walk. All those kind of things are affected by strokes. So at the top here, we have preventing another stroke if you already had a stroke, because like I said, prevention is a huge key in this. A lot of people don't know that 80% of strokes are preventable. Like 80%. That's like already more than half. You know what I'm saying? Like more than 3/4. That's amazing. So the first thing we have is like the types of stroke, which basically just tells you different types of strokes. Like this is not all strokes are the same. There's the clots, the bleeds, and then the basically the TIAs, which are like the baby strokes, the smaller strokes, things that people don't think about. Like, like, oh, my head's hurting, it's probably a TIA, but it can also be very detrimental to your health. So I want to go back to the Life After Stroke tab I was talking about earlier. This is what I was talking about, basically, so people don't fall into depression and they also don't feel like they can't, get back to their normal selves. There's the stroke rehab section, stroke recovery, my favorite, which is connecting with stroke recovery support. Basically, like you can go to support group with other people who've had strokes, or people you can go to the group and basically just talk with people who've had strokes so they can like kind of let out their feelings type of thing. And it's also beneficial to you because they feel better, you feel better. It's like a really good, expression session. Then we have the regaining independence after a stroke, which is a lot of people don't feel like they can do things after they've had their stroke. They feel like they are helpless. They feel really dependent, but that's definitely not true. Like I said, if you let it affect you, it will affect you. But if not, then you'll be fine. I want to talk a little bit about, the language section I was talking about. So yeah, basically you can just like choose another language and you can read all the stuff that I'm reading in English. You can read it in Spanish or Chinese or other Chinese or Vietnamese. And it's really important that people who don't just speak English are educated as well, because it's important, they a lot of people have strokes. So, you know, you can be 12 and have a stroke. You can be 64 and have a stroke. Like, you can have a stroke at any time in your life. Not just older people have it, even though those are the ones that we think of first. So it's important that other people who speak different languages are also informed and educated, just like we are who speak English. I know this is a valid site because I went to the About Me. If you scroll all the way to the bottom, you go to About the American Heart Association / ASA. So the American Heart Association is the bigger group of the American Stroke Association. The American Stroke Association is basically like a smaller branch off division of the American Heart Association, but they're basically the same thing. It was founded by 6 cardiologists in 1924. It says it right here, which I think is dope because, you know, heart doctors, cardiologists, if they know most about heart. So the fact that they founded the American Heart Association is like right off the bat tells me that, you know, they know what they're talking about. And then also right here, it just says the American Stroke Association was created as a division in 1977 to bring together the organization's stroke-related activities. So basically, I've talked a little bit about what they're about. So if we go back to the Stroke Association, we can go back up here to the top. And then right here, you can go ahead and go to local info. And this is what I was talking about when you can basically volunteer your time or volunteer your money, you know, whichever you're into, for the stroke fight. Basically, just either donating your time or your money to help fight the fight, whether that go to research, whether that go to like handling one of those support groups. Like, there's so many things you can do in your local, you know, like your local area. Like I said, I'm really into like supporting local businesses, local communities, stuff like that. So that part rings true for me. I love the local thing because I love, like, you can affect people in your own community, which is really important to me. Also up here at the top, if we go back to where we were the first time, we can go back to stroke. Basically, I already talked about I've already talked about the about stroke. I've already talked about life after stroke. Talk about the different links and stuff like that. Why all this is important to people like us who are in this class. Basically, a health educator can either direct somebody to this site or educate themselves about stroke, which is really important. Like, this is the number 5 reason why people are dying, and, like, you know, like a leading cause in depression, which is really important. You know, if we can eliminate it, we can definitely talk about it. If we talk about it, it can be eliminated, which is like my biggest thing. Talking about things helps. So even if you can only talk about it, like if you're educated on it, if people ask you questions or like you're interested in learning about it, like, it's always good to know a little bit about everything. This is definitely like a valid site, like I said, as well as we can educate ourselves, and as health educators, we can educate other people, which basically just limits. And if we're educated, we are limiting the causes, or sorry, we're limiting like the number of strokes that people have because we know how to prevent it. So yeah, that's basically my presentation. Again, my name is Jyleon Rush. If you have any questions, email me or something like that, I guess. Check out the site. Like I said, it's really cool. I'm super into all this. Like, the Stroke Association is very close to my heart because I know somebody who had a stroke who's close to me. So like I said, definitely volunteer, get out there, you know, save some lives. Thank you guys so much.